everybody. Ray Brem here, Book Profit School. I'm with Paul Brody from Get Published and Brody Consulting, and we're just here to chat with you today because we've just reopened all the videos for 48 hours, not even 48 hours, till midnight Eastern Time tomorrow. And we want to talk about Paul's uh, session because it's very powerful and why you should check that out today. Welcome, Paul.
Hey Ray, how you doing?
Good. So Paul's got poked himself in the eye. I'm not minimizing that, hopefully, and he's got the shades on. But he was a cool dude before he poked himself in the eye. So I welcome the shades. And let's talk. Let's talk. We were just talking offline before we got on here, but uh, your three pillars are the back of my head now when I do anything because listen, I've got a book, and then I don't have a podcast yet, or I did a short version of one last summer. I've got one coming, and then obviously the summit. You've got another summit coming up. An encore session of your last summit coming up in a few weeks. But tell us about why these three things are really the core of your business.
Well, and the thing is, Ray, it all happened over time. So everything started with the first book back in 2015. And of course, you see the video that Ray and I did together. You see I do this big dramatic gesture and throw it back there and a little bit of goofiness, but we had fun with the conversation. But the main point is that the book is the foundation of your platform. That is your core. That is where you start. And then what happens over time is as you develop your brand, your business, you're getting more books, other opportunities come up. And one of my clients, Billy Atwell, we did his book, Unshakable Self-Confidence. And after we got his book out, he asked me about doing a podcast. And of course, the answer was, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know anything about podcasting. I wouldn't know the equipment. Billy, to his credit, walked me through the whole process. We started to Get Published podcasts late June 2018. And now we have over 540 episodes that have been recorded and that we do Monday through Friday, a new episode every single day. So that helped build our business to the next level because that gave us further credibility. So the first pillar was the book. The second pillar was the podcast. And then what happened, again, funny thing, have a conversation with Steve Nivick. Him and his wife, Karen, did their own summit a couple of years ago, had great success. We're talking last July on the podcast. Same question. Why aren't you doing a podcast? Why are you not doing a virtual summit? Same answer. Didn't want to mess with it. Too much time. Didn't really find out the best way to host it. And then he talked about some different options that were available. So I just took the plunge. And we started with one service called Hey Summit.
I got some work at home noises coming from the door, so sorry about that. But anyway, this is what I love. So let me ask you something. So this is on the podcasting because I think there's definitely some interest of people that are looking in Book Profit School. How hard is it to do as many podcasts as you're doing? So you hit 540 now. I mean, the last thing I knew, you were interviewing Rob on number 500. Now you're at 540, and I'm like, that was just like 2 weeks ago or something. But how hard is it to get into a rhythm like you have to create? And even doing one a week seems like a lot to a lot of us.
It's all about systems. We started doing once a week, and then it started to build from there. At one point, we were recording episodes Monday through Friday, all week long, 4 episodes a day, and it just took a life of itself to the point where we had 3 to 4 months of episodes already in the bag where we had to get these episodes out. So we expanded then to a couple times a week, 5 times a week, and then we scaled down when we do the show. So at this point, what we do, Ray, is we do the interviews on Tuesdays and Thursdays, both in the mid to late afternoon, 4 episodes each day. And then at that point, with our show up rate, we typically have about 5 to 6 episodes that we're able to put out there every single week. So that way we get our 5 episodes done and then we build it. But just like our publishing business, it came down to systems. Same thing with virtual summits. You develop systems and then you test things. You find things work great. Other things don't work so great. You and I were talking earlier about your summit. Some things were going absolutely wonderful. And then there's some areas of opportunity. So it's one of those things where you're constantly testing things out. and then letting things develop from that point and just figuring out what works and then what doesn't work.
Yeah, it's a good point. So I know you've got some great systems there, and we talk more about it on your session in Book Profit School, and that is what session is that number now? I should know by heart, but it's day. Do you happen
It's
to
day
know?
3.
Day three.
Yeah, day 3.
Day three. Well, let me just pull it up here. Do I have it available? Well, anyway, it's day three. Check it out. It's easy to find. Paul Brody and the three pillars of a business. And I look now. I'm working all these. I need my system down for the podcasting, so we'll get more on that later. But make sure you tune in. We've got topics from that. So if you take this core three pillars that Paul's mentioning, and you can start plugging in some of the other things on the tail end. But this is kind of your core that you build all these businesses around. And man, it's great, and it's I've been on the podcast, I've been on your summit, you're on my summit, and this stuff just starts exploding the more connections you make. And the way to make those connections is your book, your podcast, and your summit.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what I was mentioning with that evolution. It's just these things all happen over time. And that's why I was mentioning the story about Steve Dimick last July, talking about the virtual summit and just you're starting from scratch every time you're doing these things because you have to learn. There is a learning curve, but once you get that developed, then it's just all about developing systems. And we did the summit. We had that out in January. We're doing the second edition coming up in a couple of weeks, where we've also added, which you're going to be part of this, multiple bonus sessions where we're going to bring back some of those speakers and talk about building your author business in light of COVID-19 and the things that are going on there. So that way it's some current information where they can still get the value of the summit that we initially reported back in January.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Paul. Thanks, everybody. Hey, go check out. You got whatever it is now, 32 hours or whatever, to go check out the summit for free. You can pay a small amount and get access to all the videos, all this masterclass sessions as well. Lifetime access, so you can do that as well, but you can certainly watch them for free this weekend. So check it out. And Paul, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, great. Thanks again.
All right, we'll see you later.